Let's talk about a few ways to make the action scenes in your Webtoon comics have a little more punch, using movement to pump up the volume. Hey, Walter here, doing what I can to make comics easier because it shouldn't be overwhelming or daunting to tell your story. I make videos about that stuff, so subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. So a lot of comics have action scenes, so it's kind of important that those action scenes are as exciting as possible. So when I'm thumbnailing my action scenes, I'm thinking about movement, energy, impact, and these concepts break down into smaller, detailed concepts, and they're called different things by different people, but at the end of the day, it's all about finding that right pose and that right camera angle to really sell the action that you're trying to portray. So let's go ahead and start with a simple concept like the movement of the action we're trying to draw. So take a running punch, for example. We could draw it like this. It's clean, it's easy to read and understand what's going on, which are important parts of comics, but it's moving in one direction. So what if we were to rotate or twist the camera? Now we have the same pose, but it's not only moving to the side, but it's moving towards the camera a little bit, creating this kind of diagonal line of action, and it's breaking that flat plane of the canvas. And there's more movement, or should I say there's more speed or speedy movement, fast go. Another way to think of it is like this. If you watch a car drive by, you're a passive viewer, and you can say that car is going fast. However, if we change the angle of the car and now it's kind of moving in our direction, now you're not really a passive viewer, which begs the question, why not draw the car coming straight at us? In real life, that's pretty scary, but not a huge fan of it in comics. And because I think there's this urge to draw this straight at the camera view. I remember when I first started drawing, I wanted to master this angle. However, after years of drawing comics for like 10 years, I never ever want to draw this angle. And there's a couple reasons why. First, it's hard to draw. The second reason is that we're kind of back into that single axis of movement. Not only that, but we're kind of, we're creating this flatness of the image again, even though it's trying to jump off the canvas. Now that's not to say there's never a use for one of these straight at the camera angles. They do have their uses and they can really help sell different sorts of impacts. However, even in this drawing, you can see I'm still angling the camera a little bit. It's not truly straight at the camera. So if we imagine a box, if we draw a box and it's in the straightforward or profile view, we only really see one side of the box. So is it a box or is it a square? There's no dimensionality. However, if we switch it and we have 2 axes or even 3 axes, we can see that it's a box, and it allows us to use speed lines to help convey the direction, thus also the movement. I did a speedline video, so check out that video for more information. But we do have some options. We have the classic speedline, we have the motion blur options, and we have these squiggles, which of course are my favorites. I use them all the time. And then you can do extreme squiggles. You can even remove the lines after you do the squiggles and have only squiggles. A really good trick is to also add some debris and dust to the scene. They all have their own movement, which kind of adds to the movement of the entire scene. An important thing to remember with drawing action poses is that it's not only the body pose, but also the face pose. I guess most people would call these an expression. If you have your character throwing this amazing punch, but they're kind of bored looking, it's not going to have the same impact as them having an angry poo face. And something else you may not have noticed is that I've drawn all of these moving to the right. I tend to always draw action moving to the right direction when I can, because it's following the reader's eye movement, and that kind of adds to the entire momentum of the action. Of course, this isn't always possible, such as the case if you have 2 people throwing punches back and forth. You don't want to keep flipping the fighters just so you can have the punch moving to the right, because that's going to confuse the reader, which is why there's the 180-degree rule. If you don't know what that is, well, I guess you're out of luck. Unless you watch the video that I did about that very rule. And while you're thinking about how lucky you are because of that, why don't you hit that like button with the intense movement of tapping or clicking? So that's one way to give your action scenes a little bit more pump, a little more punch. At least I'm also going to be doing some other videos about action scenes, like regarding posing. So let me know what action scenes cause problems for you, and maybe I will do a video about some solutions to those problems. Also, if you want to ask me directly for help, check out my Patreon page to access my super secret Patreon-only Discord channel, or you can just join the Discord server in general and talk to a bunch of helpful other creators. All those links are down below. And if you want to keep making comics easier, be sure to like, link, love, hug, and hit that subscribe button for more sweet, sweet goodness. Peace.